Imagine That is a creative Rugrats episode, but I personally found it to be really quite dull. This is the second segment of the 10th episode of the 8th season, and Angelica is playing the Cynthia team. And of course, the babies are involved in this, and there are some cookies in this episode. The green cookies look rather unpleasant. And part of the reason I didn't like this is because I'm not a fan of things we see in their imagination. The imaginative play episodes just don't really appeal to me. Although, what is interesting is that Angelica was involved in this. Usually, with the imaginative play episodes, she's either involved involuntarily, for example, if she's the antagonist and the babies are trying to get away from her, or she's just not involved at all. So that was different, I have to say. And it was well animated, it was very creative, but I just found the narrative to be really boring, and this whole Cynthia team thing I just found to be not interesting. And then we have a subplot with the cookies, and Didi and Betty are there, and it just didn't speak to me. There was nothing about this episode that appealed to me. So I don't actually have much more to say than that, which is not always the case. Sometimes episodes that don't appeal to me, I can, go off on a rant about why that is. This one, it didn't work for me. There really isn't anything bad about it specifically. I think the pacing was good. I think it cut back and forth between the imagination and the real world actually quite well. We didn't spend all of the episode in the imagination, and I think they got the balance quite right. Credit absolutely where it's due. And some of the costumes in the imagination world were good. Tommy's a bit boring. Angelica's was kind of cool. Chuckie with his little hat I thought was rather adorable. So there were actually bits that were very good and work in the episode's favour. It just it just didn't speak to me. It didn't appeal to me. It's not an episode that I found interesting, but I didn't hate it. I'm not annoyed by it. None of that matters. It's just unfortunately not one that moved me. Imagine That is, all things considered, not a bad episode. It's just not one for me.